So this one's been a bit of a long time coming. Xanadu's done, and before I reveal it, I want to see if I can't get this one, the original nameless one. I don't think I ever named this. I've been calling it the Xanadu, but I don't think that was what it was really called. Maybe it was. I'd have to go back and look at those papers I showed at the very beginning of all this. But anyway, there are a couple things that need to be addressed before I can get this playable, like this big divot that got taken out of the fretboard. So I'm gonna just file this nice and flat, and I will take a little piece of this walnut, which looks pretty close, and put it right there, and voila, glue it on, sand it down, and all will be just groovy. So let me do that. And then we'll get this thing cranked up and see what kind of noise it makes, and reveal the new one. One thing I clearly remember is the sharp edges of the plexi were deadly. So let's just mellow those out a little bit as long as I'm here. And what I didn't film was I cleaned it up and hit it with a coat of Meguiar's. I mean, there's no clear coat on this. There's no point in going too crazy, but, clean it up a little bit, give it a little bit of a shine, and it looks kind of nice. So I really hadn't intended, I don't think, on trying to get this, totally functional again, because I kind of wanted to leave it as it was. But leaving it totally as it was, which was, something that's been sitting in my garage for 40 years, give or take. Well, no, not that long. Sitting in this garage for at least almost 30. So yeah, close enough. Is that right? 95 to 2005 to 2015 to 2025. It'll be 30 years. Yeah. And it's been out here in the garage pretty much most of that time. So anyway, that's much better. Now when I start doing my Pete Townsend windmills, I will not sever an artery. At least from this. So a couple other things that I discovered while going through this. One, my finish job was kind of a mess. Like I said, I found these where I clearly put the bridge holes in the wrong place for the first time. There's a little chunk right here that looks like when I made the top half of the body, something chipped off, because there's a perfectly straight line right here that it's a glue joint. It is definitely a glue joint, so I don't remember what happened there. And as I mentioned before, there's this whole mess that happened when the the superintendent decided to turn off the heat in the shop, and the pine cracked from here to here, and so I had to improvise and put this little piece in, and made for quite a large control cavity. I think I'm gonna have to replace the tuning machines. I mean, they work. I don't know if I can detarnish them enough. I've seen that metal rescue stuff do some wondrous things, so maybe I should try that before I commit, because it would be kind of cool to leave all the original hardware, if possible, on it. I got my little piece gluing on here to fix that chunk that blew off. I had, where did I put it? I had a nut that I thought might work, but it's too narrow, so I have to like make one or get Mark to make one. But either way, whatever I do, I want to do it soon, because I want to get this done. I want to get this video out. I think it's kind of important to finish this. And I'm sitting here polishing it, assuming that, not assuming, I know better, but my brain says, oh, keep polishing it and everything will be perfect. It'll never be perfect. Never. But it'll be functional, and I'm going to record a song with it and the new one. Little piece of kit that my dad and I threw together in a shop class in 1981. It's amazing. Alright, it's not perfect, and I clearly forgot to cover the fretboard with tape, but I kind of thought I was going to have to touch this stuff up anyway. The main thing is, that's quite nice. I didn't want to totally make it invisible. I want to remember that it broke. It's important. So I had forgotten about this. Looks like I botched the holes for the bridge the first time. Totally forgot about that, but yeah, it's not just a little ring there. I can feel that's a different piece of wood. I'll be damned. Even back then, crap like this was happening to me. But I'll cut myself some slack. First time, right? I wish I could remember what the scale was. I'm gonna have to measure it and figure it out. Sitting there thinking I'll just measure it, but before I measure it, let's see if in this ridiculous amount of papers I've got that you saw back in episode 1, if you didn't check that out, I think you should go back and look at the first one at least, because context, you know how it is. Lots of goofy stuff. But where are the specs? The neck says 18 3/4 inches. Ah, there it is. 25 inches. See, I'm doing the fret math there. So let's see if that equates to reality. Yeah, 25. Originally, this was the bridge. And somewhere along the lines, I lost the little thumb screws that go underneath it to raise it up. And in the process of trying to find something to replace it, I just thought, you know what, let me just get like a whole new one. So, of course, the problem is, in this one of the maybe 2 upgrades I'm going to do, I'm going to have to drill new mounting holes. But that's okay. I don't mind that kind of change. I don't want to go too far. I want to keep it as stock as possible. But that's not too bad, I don't think. Well, I've lost the center line, of course, but this is pretty close. Interesting that these new versions do not have the same screw end the old ones do. All right, so I have to do it the funky way. Man, this is a pain. This is officially a pain and poor design. Why would you do that? All right, here's a bridge. Now, normally, I would totally give the nut to Mark. He is excellent at it. He loves doing it, and it's his thing. But for this particular instrument, I kind of feel like I should do this part myself. Just sort of close the loop of 40 years ago and do this bit on my own for once and just see how much Mark laughs at me when it's all said and done. I mean, this thing is never going to play totally brilliantly, I don't think. I really don't think. But, you know, let's get it back and up and running again. I need to file that. That's kind of wonky there. Let me do that first. Also, I discovered that these tuning machines are Grovers. So I think it's worth trying to fix them, because the only alternative is to throw some of these super crappy bargain basement tuning machines, which probably, given the number of years that have passed since these were made versus when these were made, these might be better. But, you know, they're Grovers. I should try to save them. All right, I'm trying to get so you can see just how bad the action is. So, and that is with the bridge all the way down. So I am going to take this neck off and see if I can't shim it up a little bit and get that brake angle better. So apparently I tried to shim this already. Check it out. 40-year-old index cards. That's hysterical. All right, so I measured, and I'm gonna have to reuse that. Just of course, I have to leave that in there. I need 3/32 of an inch. And you know, this might be just exactly what I need. Where's my pencil? I don't know if anybody else does this. I'm sure everybody else does this. No, I'm sure some other people do this. I clear my workbench off before I start something, and slowly things accumulate until I'm working in a corner this big, and I get mad at myself for not cleaning up. But at least I kind of know where everything is. I realize this is about as far from ideal as you can get, but I don't want to, as I've said before, get rid of all the evidence of what this really is, which is the very first thing I ever built. So, I don't think I want to try to make this all perfect. Just want to get through that walnut. I have no idea if that's going to actually help. It should, but we can find out quick enough. And boom! I can raise the bridge up and get the angle just quite nice. Woohoo! One nice thing about frets this rusty and old is you don't need to mark them with the blue marker before you start trying to level them, because it's quite apparent. All right, first time this thing has been played through an amp in 40 years, and I'm not even sure it's had strings on it in 30.
I'm waiting!
All right, here it is. A finished Xanadu. switch. I made one. I made one at the same time I made that truss rod cover. I finished it exactly the same way I finished that truss rod cover. It is gone. I can't find it anywhere. I've got all sorts of covers and stuff for other instruments floating around here, but not that one. So if I can't find it, I was waiting before I did this video to get that installed so it was completely done. And then I realized, since the original one hasn't had a cover in decades, maybe it's suiting that the rebuild version is the same. So anyway, I wanted to give you a tour of what this is like real quick. So specifically the electronics. So Mark wound these incredible pickups. They are very nice. They got these lovely chrome covers, which I really dig. And he did some electronics wizardry. So normal, volume, tone, three-way or five-way switch, just like a regular S-style guitar. But what we have that's kind of groovy is if I pop up the push-pull, if I pop up the push-pull on the volume, it adds the neck. So that's that is just the regular single coil pickup. Very nice. Right now you're hearing this through my Bagheera amp. It's just on a clean channel, nothing fancy. Two pickups, middle pickup. Jeez, I can't play today. Very cool. I really like that sound. But he also, through a phase switch, pulled the tone up, and now the center pickup is out of phase with everything else. So I go from 2 and so on. So that's the tour. Now let me show you the Xanadu, the original. This is the Xanadu. I'm not even sure what I called that one. I think it was the Xanadu. Maybe not. It doesn't really matter, does it? Okay, and now a quick tour of the original. Shinier than it has been for quite some time. Like I said, still no cover on the back. The brand new nut. The brand new bridge. The only two things that have changed. It's weird. These electronics are a little funky. I'm not quite sure that they work as prescribed. So, I mean, something's happening there. So, let's take these two instruments and play them in context, shall we? Let's see what it sounds like together, the old and the new. So I just realized I never really recorded an ending to this video, so I'm doing it right now. I hope you've enjoyed this little trip to resurrect a 40-year-old original dream that has kept me going the past few years, and I think I found my new calling, or at least I found the new thing that makes me really, really happy. So a lot of water has passed under a lot of bridges in the 40 years since I built that original instrument, and it's maybe not on camera, but it's gotten to me a couple times. So this stupid little instrument here, this stupid little experiment, has been important. I could get all maudlin and morose and hypothetical and ambiguous and triangular, but I won't. Instead, I'm just going to say I hope you really enjoyed this trip. I hope you enjoyed the build. I hope you like the guitar. I hope you like the old one. Let me know in the comments. Like, subscribe, all those things. And thanks so much for coming along on this particular ride. It's been fun having you here. See you next time.